Okay, last update didn't go too well, so let's take it again from the top. Here's Oh No More Lemmings, an expansion pack for Lemmings that consists of 80 new levels. Yeah, 80 of them, so let's go, let's check out this game. So, welcome to Crazy Difficulty. This is where Oh No More Lemming gets its proper beginning. Even the title of the level says it so. Quote, that's a good level. It's like they're just telling that Tame was a complete waste of time and it was awful. But yeah, look at that, an actual level where we have to think and where you have certain skills and you must use them correctly to get to the end. So yeah, welcome to your first proper challenge in the game. And if your only exposure to Lemmings was the Tame difficulty, that's pretty much where your playthrough stopped. Okay, maybe you'd be able to figure this one out because it's honestly not that hard of a level, but it's still hard enough that, well, it can be tricky when you don't know how your skills work. Also, we're not beelining for the exit here. You have to make sure that you're digging left to the exit while you're walking left, because you have to blow up your blocker here. You can't do it from the other side, because otherwise you're gonna blow up the little brick platform that is on the other side, and all your lemmings will fall in the... I'm not even sure what the hell the water is down here. Some people say it's cement, some... I don't know, I always thought that was like, I don't know, soda water or something. So there's two alternate ways in order to do it. That's the other way. You set the lemming as a bomber as he's near the blocker, and you set him up as a climber so that he will explode while on the wall. And that way you will be able to have a clear shot toward the exit, all without having to do the little wraparound tactic that you have to do into this one level. But yeah, that was a pretty neat level. In fact, it was neat enough that the people who did the Sega Genesis port of Lemmings decided to remake this level and put it on the taxing difficulty. And here it was called Walk Through Here But Cautiously, something like that. And here's to another level that the people that did the Genesis port also reuse. It was a Mayhem level, and yeah, this level is actually pretty damn hard, especially for the second level of the game. I mean, when I first played Oh No More Lemmings, I played the Tame difficulty, and I got to this level, and this is where I stopped playing, because I had no clue how to do this. Also, a fun random fact, on the Genesis, this level was called Dangerous Balcony. So, in order to do anything in this level, you have to set one climber, and you assign him as a digger. Why? In order to get him to touch ground here, and be able to build a ramp that will get everybody else to the exit. That's the only way you can get anybody down here without breaking their legs, or the entire part of their bodies altogether. But as we're building our ramp toward the little platform that is here in order to give our lemmings a straight ramp in order to get to the end of the level, you're probably gonna have one interrogation. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if you figured it out yet, but yeah, let's just dig the platform. Yeah, half of our lemmings are totally not going in the right direction, so that was definitely not the thing that needed to be done. I mean, we're almost there, but yeah, we still need to do something that makes it so that none of the lemmings will walk off the pit. And remember, we have to save everyone here, and we don't have any blockers or anything. Also, what do you mean we're not too impressed with your attempt at that level? I was so close. Okay, I was off by almost 50%, but yeah, that's all that needed to be done. Why are we building a ramp here? Well, you're going to notice something very soon whenever we'll be able to make it so that we will dig our hole that will lead all the way down here. Yeah, all of our lemmings are constantly going toward the exit or the exit part while being at the place where the hole will be, and the lemmings that are going on the right are going over the hole. So this way we can force the lemmings to fall in the hole whenever they're heading toward the left, instead of having them go in every possible direction and here they're just gonna walk off the platform and whatever. But yep, we did it, and it was totally excellent. Now you see why I say that in order to play this game, you need to have prerequisite Lemming knowledge, because, yeah, you're never gonna beat any of this if you only played the Tame difficulty. You need to have played like Taxing or Mayhem in order to be able to do all of this. So this is why Oh No More Lemmings is generally recognized for being a difficulty wall kind of game and not a difficulty curve. When we get to Crazy, there's gonna be a difficulty curve, but right now it's a difficulty wall. Also, the gimmick for this level is that we have to use bombers in order to make it so that the drop will be survivable by the other Lemmings, but I totally fucked it up. Yep, level 3 of the game, and we already have bombing timing levels. Everyone's favorite. Also, this one has kind of a nasty twist to it because, well, you didn't see it here, but you need to also delay your Lemmings a little bit, because otherwise, whenever your Lemming is going to be standing on the edge of the platform and explode, sometime another Lemming is just going to walk past and fall down to his doom. And in fact, on the Windows 95 version of the game, you had to do what I'm going to be doing right here, because otherwise, whenever your bomber will explode, your other Lemmings will collide into him, and they will turn back, which is a complete anomaly of a behavior, and I'm not sure it's in any other version of the games, but yeah, it's totally there. Another alternate strategy is to time your bomber so that he's gonna explode just the moment he walks off the platform. So that way he will spontaneously explode in midair, but that's really difficult to pull out, and we're now pretty much going in pain dimension if we're going out of our way to doing this. This is a really bad way to do the level, and kind of a bad level, honestly. I'm never a big fan of levels that require such a precise use of bombers. And now it's time for the Lemming Express. All of your Lemmings are going to be tightly packed together in a train, so now it's time to find a way to get above the sea of bubbles that we have over here. Yeah, we're now in the sea bubble land into bubble tile set. So considering that you have a climber, you might be thinking about steering a Lemming to the left and then use a climber in order to get in on top of the structure here, but you're not gonna have enough builders, or probably not enough time in order to get your Lemming to the end in order to build a bridge for everyone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick one of our Lemmings into the train, probably like the one who is on the back totally, and we're going to build him all the way above, and then he's gonna build a ramp while everybody else is just gonna follow the very long road leading to the end. Now that may require a little bit of trial and error at first, because you have to figure out where to build so that your Lemming is not gonna bang his head on the ceiling whenever he's going to build all the way up on the starting hallway and everything. But once you've got that going for, the rest of this level is pretty easy. So far, I think this is the easiest level we've had in the game, barring all of Tame, because it doesn't count. I mean, Oh No More Lemmings probably would not have been regarded as having such a brutal difficulty wall if the Tame difficulty wasn't there, or if it was implemented in a way that made sense. As in, it starts off really easy, but then as you go into the later level, you're going to start facing challenges in order to slowly prepare you for what's gonna happen, but no. It never prepares you for anything. The difficulty on Tame is just a complete flat line that goes below the difficulty threshold for what fun is, and that's why it's a complete waste of time. I know it was included here so that people who had no Lemming experience could enjoy the game in some faculty, because if you didn't play Lemmings at all, forget about it. You're not beating any single one of these levels. So, welcome to the 24-hour Lemathon. You have two strategies here. Either you use a shitload of builders in order to be able to stall your Lemmings sufficiently long enough in order to get to the middle portion of the level here, or you let your Lemmings fall all the way down here, and you spiral staircase your way out of this hole in order to get to the same place. I just prefer doing it this way because it requires way less effort. Also, you have one builder, so it's time for it to see some use. So you just send one lemming all over the place in order to prepare the final ramp, and there we go. This level probably could have been pretty hard, but because of the inclusion of the digger, it's not too overwhelming. It might seem intimidating because of the fact that you have to save everyone once again. This is starting to be kind of a recurring theme. We haven't had a single level so far where we had any margin of error. We either saved everyone or we saved just enough lemmings in order to beat the level. It's never gonna be any otherwise. Yeah, once again, another level where we have to save everybody. Also, I like the tree on the left, which is just built out of rocks. So yeah, the stack. We have to go through this pillar, but we only have diggers, so yeah, it appears that the only way in order to destroy this pillar will be from above. So lemming number 1 is our lucky digger today, or one of them. And now here's the touchiest part of the level, because you have to build to this pillar, but you have to build in a way so that your lemming is not gonna hit the pillar and turn back. Yeah, that's not what you have to do. If you do this, you might as well restart. I think you might still be able to pull it off, but you're gonna waste a lot of time, and for the most part, Oh No More Lemming is very stingy toward time limits. There's no time to waste in most of these levels. For all of Tame, we only had 4 minutes to beat a level, and it's never really going to get higher than that. Most of the time, it's only going to be 4, 3, 2, or even 1 minute. So we need 2 lemmings in order to dig up this giant pillar, one for the right and one for the left, but I totally did not pay attention to what I was doing. So, alright, it's time to restart, hopefully by pulling off a better staircase so that I'm not gonna waste a shitload of time. And yeah, as you might have noticed, there's a bunch of different texts now in the game. Oh dear, not even once poor lemming saved. Try a little harder next time. Yeah, I'll do. I mean, I admit I really wasn't at peak performance right here. And now hopefully my builder has started off in time here. Whew, just barely. I built a little bit in the wall, but the lemming thankfully did not hit the wall, so we're okay. So, taking it again from the top, and yeah, you have to start with the right portion of the pillar because the right lemming is also going to build his way toward the rest of the level. And once again, time is very important, so you must not fumble. Okay, I'm gonna be in the same situation as before, but this time I will remember to click. And yeah, it's okay if you kind of misclick or something. I mean, you don't have to take off the whole top of the pillar or anything. As long as you destroy all of the parts that matter, you're okay. Also, this level is also in the Sega Genesis version of the game. It was entirely redesigned using the Lemming style set, and yeah, the previous level also was a Genesis level. It's like a lot of the levels on the crazy difficulty somehow made it into the Genesis version. This level was called Keep All Enemies Out, which is kind of an ominous name. I mean, what enemies are there to lemmings? I mean, we haven't seen any other living beings in this world apart from the lemmings themselves, so what will be the enemies of lemmings? I don't know, but either way, we're done with the stack. And now, the end is near, the end of your playthrough. Once again, let's save everybody. We're on a roll here. We're never gonna leave any lemming behind. So hey, I guess if you're attached to lemmings, then this version of the game is for you, because apart from 2 levels, we've had to save everyone in every level. Yeah, usually in Oh No More Lemmings, lemmings die for a good reason, so it's not about gratuitous deaths or anything anymore. So now we have to get to the end, but we have no tools for digging downwards, so how the hell are we going to free everybody? Yeah, earlier we did it from the top, now we're gonna have to do it from bottom. And make sure that you tread lightly because, yeah, what you're seeing here, yeah, these pretty ominous things, yeah, they're gigantic electric saws that are just waiting for you to cut all of your lemmings over like pizza or something. So we have 4 builders for this level, 2 in order to reach the proper area of the level where you're gonna use your basher, and the other 2 are used in order to steer your lemming in the other direction in order to prevent him from being sliced open. And now for the moment of truth. Ah, no, we failed. It was just 1 pixel too low. There's just a tiny bit of land that is separating my lemmings from freedom, but unfortunately the only freedom they will get is explosive nuclear freedom. So yeah, in most levels you end up killing only 1 or 2 lemmings. Well, we ended up rescuing 1 or 2 lemmings. Also, yes, well, maybe this is not the way to do this level. Well, it is the way, but I just did not do it properly because this is really freaking hard. I mean, your staircase is gonna be like 1 pixel too high, you're gonna hurt yourself against steel and you're not gonna bash, and too low, you've seen what happened. Yeah, this time our tunnel was too high, so I couldn't even build it. I just bashed against steel and everything was ruined. Alright, as they say, 3rd time the charm, or 4th if we're going with the attempt I cut out. Here we go, we just did it, and now for curiosity's sake, let's just go in an alternate timeline and see what happens when you get cut open by a saw blade. Yikes, that is pretty gruesome, honestly. Most of the deaths that you have in Oh No More Lemmings are kind of gruesome. I mean, in the first game, there was like maybe 1 death in the game that was not really cartoonish, and it was the one where they got squashed by the hidden boulder, but here it's just like, yikes, that's kind of harsh. Alright, are you ready to keep on trucking? Woo! Spring break! Spring break with the tentacles? Yikes! Where the hell are we? What is this horrible pain dimension? Yeah, that's the water in this tile set. The tile set and the rock tile set in this game is freaking tentacles. Yuck. Also, speaking of tentacle, you probably have noticed a little bit of vine that is sticking off the rocks. Yeah, don't walk on it, it's kind of dangerous. We're not gonna see what it does right now, but don't worry, we will at some point. So this level, bearing the Shouty title, is kind of a return to form to the classic Lemmings gameplay, where we just sent 1 lemming ahead as a trailblazer in order to prepare the path for everybody, and we just blocked off everybody else with blockers. So this is kind of a traditional and a little bit easier Lemmings level. With that said, depending on how you approach the end of the level, it can be pretty nasty. But we're going to take an easier path, hopefully. That will make it so that we're not gonna have to do the harder alternate route, where we're gonna have to use a little bit more creativity. But don't worry, because the way we're gonna take is gonna require some creativity of its own. Yep, we're just going to brute force our way to this giant crystal cactus. Is that what it even is supposed to be? I'm not sure I understand this tile set. So this lemming here is just gonna be on blocking duty so that nobody goes and drown in the tentacles. And now it's time to send everybody else in order to finish off the job. Also, don't ask me what I've been doing, I was not thinking here. I guess this one blocker just wants to look at the vine over here because it looks nice. So yeah, we're just going to bash through the cactus and then we're going to stop him with a builder in order to make it so that all of the lemmings will be able to climb up to the finishing ramp. And here we go, the basher is perfect and now it's all a matter of being able to stop him. And I can already tell I forgot to do it, alright. Yep, if I didn't stop him in time, I would have just ended up digging underneath the exit and I might have rendered the level unsolvable. Okay, maybe not unsolvable, I mean, I could have used a builder in order to render the exit accessible again, but it would have been pretty tricky to do, and I honestly don't feel like doing this. More so considering that I ended up using all of the builders that were allotted, so even though it's definitely a little easier than the levels we've seen so far, I still don't think this will fit well in the tricky difficulty. Most of Crazy just end up feeling like taxing or mayhem difficulty in overall. Here, this might have been, for instance, a late tricky level. Once again, we have to save everybody. The last level was like one of the few exceptions to the rule, but yeah. Let's see how things are on the Antarctic coast. So we have to use a digger here because otherwise the lemmings are gonna walk all the way back to the left and fall in the icy water. And now, yeah. We also have icy guns, and what other hazards are we gonna have here? Icicles or whatever? I mean, just looking at the ceiling is kind of making me feel uneasy right now. And especially the little underpass that we're about to go through. This one icicle kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Yep, called it. Yeah, this level just introduces all of the hazards of the Ice tile set all in one single level. First we have the icicle, and then afterwards we have the ice gun, but it's not really used in the level because your lemmings are not gonna get there by natural means, so you'd have to climb up in order to see what it even does. Oh, not even one poor lemming save. Oh, the calamity. So yeah, we definitely fucked up at the very beginning of the level, and the reason why is because, well, we needed to send one lemming to all of the job instead of sending everybody into the fray. So we can just climb over the first block of ice that we have here, and this one lemming, once again, is gonna prepare the route for everybody. After you've gone over the beginning of this level, this is really a simple level. I mean, the icicle trap is pretty sneaky, but at least it's possible to see it coming. It's just like, you see this and it really doesn't look like anything else in the level altogether. And the ice gun, it's not really in the way in the first place, so we probably could even start freeing up everybody, but I guess I'm just gonna start mining my way through this little bit of landscape over here before we go on and tackle the rest of this level. And the rest of this level will be spent freeing the rest of our group in order to finish the level, so it's time to bash through this obstacle now. And in the meantime, we only have one final wall to bash through, and we will be back to the safety of Canada Shack. I mean, I don't know what's Canadian about it, but it's just, whenever there was like all of these cartoons that ended up being depicted in Canadas and everything, we always ended up having like those huts that just ended up looking like this. They were always looking the same exact way, with the little flag over here that just seemed really welcoming and everything, and it was full of ice and snow. Yep. That's Canada alright, it's ice and snow, even though that's really not what it is during the summer. And now, coming soon to your big lemming screen, Rocky 6! Yeah, this level is about as epic as a fighting bout onto the street, I guess. So, yeah, this level is kind of difficult. I mean, it's one of those levels where you just have to do two things at once, and we all know how these things end up in Lemming Land. This level was also on the Genesis. I think it was in the Mayhem difficulty, and rightfully so, because this one definitely requires some planning. And it requires you to be careful of those sneaky vines. Yep, when I told you that they were up to no good. So, in order to celebrate our failure at this level, because there is no further way to win, let's have the lemmings have a swim in Tentacle Lake. That is kind of gross, yuck. I mean, that's definitely not the way that I want to die. I mean, none of the ways in Lemmings will be a good way to die, but this probably will be the worst one of the bunch. So, here's how we do this level. The first lemming that goes out of the trapdoor, he's gonna go down and he's gonna be an athlete because there's gonna be a giant wall for him to climb and there's no other way to go but with a climber. But this time we're gonna build over the vine because, yeah, you definitely don't want to be in the way of this. So, meanwhile on the top, we build with one lemming and we keep one blocker in order to keep everyone at bay because the lemming on top is going to build a staircase that leads to the one-way wall, and basically the other lemming is gonna do the same but from the other side and will bash through the wall. So we're going to make it so that there's going to be one continuous path from one end of the level to the other, all made together at the same time by 2 lemmings. And remember to build in order to 1. Make this climbable by your other lemmings, and also in order to steer your climber, and you must start this climber as close as possible. It's imperative that you will be able to walk from the rock formation to the other platform, because if you can do that, then everything is for nothing, because you need to be able to climb from this point of the level and go to the top of the steel barrier, because otherwise going down here there's nothing good waiting for you. And once you finish building the little bridge on the right, then it's going to be okay to nuke your blocker to oblivion and free everybody else. And now it's time to wait for everybody to get to the exit, because we only have 1 casualty, and it's the blocker that you end up using in order to win the level. And yeah, that's it for Rocky 6. Yeah, that's definitely the best that I'll ever remember of Rocky 6, because I've never seen the movie. Oh boy, no probleming. Just looking at this kinda makes me feel like there's gonna be a probleming, so yeah, we better stop here for the time being. But yeah, when I told you that the game will redeem itself after the disastrous opening with the Tame difficulty, now we have puzzles to solve, and the levels have been pretty interesting so far. So stay tuned for the next video, where we're going to tackle the ending of the crazy difficulty.